Hello guys, Denx Gaming here, thank you very much for watching. So today I'm gonna be showing you the balance changes that will come for Clash Royale in 4 days for the 18th of May, and this will be my analysis as a high level tournament player and as well ladder player. I can give you some insight on what these changes will mean for the metagame, and I can also give you my opinion of if some cards will be strong or not. So let's jump into the changes, and the first name that you'll see inside is actually the one that everybody is been waiting for, is the Royal Giant. It's a little bit too strong right now, but not that little that 4% is enough. He's great again, maybe a little bit too great, as the Supercell guys are saying there. I think the nerf should be at least 10%, and I think something else should be changed, like decrease the range a little bit so some of the towers can hit him before. I don't know, but as it is, we're gonna see this guy again in the next balance change. 4% is not that much. I like it because it will make him a little bit weaker, and those close games that you lose against the Royal Giant, you will win right now, but it's still too strong for me. The freeze spell duration decreased to 1 second, so this is the change that everybody asked for in the last balance patch and it didn't came. So here's the freeze duration 1 second lower. Hogan freeze is actually not that big of a deal. It is only in the highest levels where freeze is actually overpowered, because the freeze at level 7, 8 can be actually casted even twice in overtime in the same engage. So it's stupid as it is at the moment how it works, but I think a rework should be needed, like with the units waking up slowly after they've been frozen, units, towers, whatever it is. But duration decrease 1 second, I think is good. I think it's something that should come, but the lower level players will still struggle against this spell, because if you don't know how to face it, you will always have issues against freeze. So next thing is the furnace, which is the elixir cost decreased to 4 from 5, hit points decreased by 14% because of this elixir change, and lifetime decreased by 10 seconds to 40 seconds. So this is something that I like. It's like a better Tombstone in a way right now, but so it can be used as a defensive structure right now, because 5 is too much for a defensive structure, because if you're attacking and you cannot make an attack most of the time that will leave you with 5 elixir to defend, so 4 can be used for that. And as well, this is a unit, this is a structure that I was actually scared to play against, because I play with a lot of smaller units and this destroys them. So the spirits are really good at the moment. Nobody's using them because they die. That's the worst thing with them, they suicide. And at the moment that's not elixir efficient unless the other player makes a mistake or doesn't expect those spirits. So I like this change for the card, but I don't like this card to be something very present in the metagame. It should be niche, is something that people use from time to time, but that's it. The Fire Spirit's area damage radius increased by 25%. I think this is amazing change. This is exactly what it needed. Like, the spirits are really strong. They can even kill some big units like barbarians, but minions they cannot handle, which is actually that should be the counter to minions, but it's not, because they kill only half of the minions, maybe one more, because the minions are too spread around, and the area of damage of the Fire Spirits wasn't enough. So this is the best change that could come, and the Fire Spirits will be at least something that I will try. Guard. Hit points and damage increased by 8%. This card shouldn't be an epic. This is my opinion. I like it strong. It can be used, but it's not really efficient. It works very well against the princes. So it was if it was in the previous meta with P.E.K.K.A.s and the prince, dark prince, white prince, whatever, they will work. But in the current meta, if you see a Royal Giant, would you want to have this card in your hand? Or if you see a Hog Rider, would you want to have this card in your hand? The answer is no, and that's why they are not played. Otherwise, they are a decent card. They are a strong counter for what they should be a strong counter, and that's it. Minor. Hit points increased by 6%, which is crazy. That wasn't needed. This card was really in a really good place. I think the buff wasn't needed. If it wasn't used, it's because people don't have it. I don't know how they analyzed it specifically, but I don't think this card should be buffed in any way. And to an extent, now it's going to be a little better because it was used to tank for other stuff. Like I played against a player in 3500. He was using the miner with goblins, minion horde, or whatever. And if you don't have the perfect counter in your deck, you're going to get at least 1000 HP damage in your tower. So it's a really strong combo if you know how to play with it. And I don't think this buff was needed, but it's there. And if it's too strong later on, I hope they will nerf it. But all the legendaries are kind of OP, so the miner was worse than the Ice Wizard and the Princess. So this is something that equals the ground a little bit. Lava Hound hit points increased 3%. Lava Pups hit points increased by 9%. I don't think that's actually that big of a deal unless they don't die to arrows anymore. The Lava Pups, I mean. Lava Hound 3% cannot be taken into account. So I think it's something that is there, but it's not used because it doesn't suit the meta game. It's like the Golem. Like the Golem would be used a lot more if it suited the meta, but it's too slow. And by the time you can deploy an attack with Golem, you already have 2 towers down. So same thing can happen with the Lava Hound. Unless the other player doesn't have any air defense, it's not that good. Elixir Collector hit points decreased by 9%. Thank you very much. I hate this card just because as a lower level player, when I play against level 10s and 11s, myself as a level 9, fresh level 9, it's a card that you cannot deal with because you have to attack right away and you have to make inefficient attacks and the spells are not good against it. So I hope that with this, Fireball will be a lot better, like 1 elixir less from the collector. If from the Fireball, I haven't made the calculations yet, but if it's the case, that's perfect because this structure is a little bit too strong right now. And if you see, as the Supercell guys are saying, it's incredibly high in the highest level. I'm in Arena 8 with 2 accounts, and I think I rarely play a player that doesn't have Elixir Collector. I don't have one just because you cannot get away with Elixir Collector if you have lower level cards. Like Elixir Collector is a unit that you can use when you have at least equal ground, and if I'm not, I cannot use it and I have to face it all the time, and that's why I hate it. This change, I think, will put it in the right place. Like 20% hit points decrease from last time, 9% now. It's enough. I think they should leave it like this. But the card as it is, this is personal opinion, it's not objective. I don't like this card. I think it shouldn't be in the game, but this nerf puts it in the right place and it will be used, but maybe a little bit less. So, Knight, hit points increased by 10%. This is amazing. I love this card because everybody expected to not do anything, to just be some slow kind of Valkyrie that doesn't spin, but this guy can deal serious damage. Like Knight with some Goblin Archers can not take down the tower, but can deal a lot of damage. And now it's a even better tank, so some strategies that rely on a P.E.K.K.A. in front or Giant in front, Giant Skeleton I mean, they might try this Knight guy, which is only 3 elixir, just to make it a lot cheaper and see how it goes. And I think it will work perfectly well. So if you have some strategy guys that rely on something big in front, try with the Knight. Sometimes it doesn't need to be that big. Sometimes your push doesn't have to take a tower. Like if you have a smaller push for 7-8 elixir, and with the Knight, if you take 1/3 of the HP of a tower, that would be enough. So great change. Exactly what was needed. Bomber damage increased by 10%. Okay, cool. I mean, this card was also not used that much. I don't think with all the princesses and Ice Wizard, I don't think I will reach to use it just in my meta game. But as it is, 10% is a lot, and it can kill everything that comes in ground units. It's just at the moment the bomber actually deals a lot of damage, so this 10% will be even more, and I think it would be in a nice place. And sometimes doesn't matter what you do to a card, unless you rework it, nobody will use it just because it doesn't suit the metagame. A princess can handle this guy, he will never reach her, and Ice Wizard as well is very good against it. Flying units obviously, So it's a card that it just it's there, but I don't think I would ever use it in Arena 8 unless the metagame changes drastically with new cards and so on. Cannon hit points decreased by 5%. It's the one of the new changes. I don't like it actually. I think this wasn't needed. The cannon, as they are saying, it's still there. It's still there. Everybody's using it, but this is because everybody's playing Royal Giant and Hog Rider, guys. This wasn't needed. Like, I wouldn't use a cannon if I shouldn't have to stop some tower targeting units like the Royal Giant and the Hog Rider. So this is expected, and you making it worse actually means that the game changes, so the structures are even worse, and the Hog Rider will be even stronger, and the Royal Giant will be even stronger. So you're not making the cannon equal to the other structures. You're making the structures bad overall, and some people will argue that this is good, but it's not good if you still have a lot of win conditions that target towers like Royal Giants. I say these names all the time, but the meta game is Royal Giant and Hog Rider. Until that doesn't change, cannon will be there. Tesla hit points increased by 5%. Okay, I mean, I might consider using it, but there are no flying units. Flying win conditions like balloon I haven't seen in a while, and if I see it with my minion horde, the minions or archers can take it down, so I don't need it. And the Lava Hound I've seen just twice or 3 times, so I don't think I would play Tesla because it works like a worse cannon right now. It's squishier, and now it's not that squishier, but that's 1 hit more from the Royal Giant. That's 1 second more. I mean, we have to make our decks, unless they nerf this guy right away, and it needs a nerf. You have to make your deck around dealing with Royal Giant, and the Tesla is not the answer, and until the Tesla is the answer, it won't be used. Golem and Golemite hit points increased by 5%. Okay, I think that's good. I think Epic should be buffed just slightly at least. The win conditions and the Golem, I don't like facing it. I think it's but I think it's fun. It's like when you see some big push, and obviously the best strategy is going for the other tower, dealing some damage there and making the other player waste some units defending. And then you have it's like some kind of raid boss in World of Warcraft, or I don't know. It's just this big thing coming down and units deploying, and you deploy your structures and then your spells or whatever. It's just like a big fight. So I love playing against golems, even though before I lost a lot against them. I learned how to play and I rarely lose against them, but even if I do, it's a fun game most of the time. So I like the change. I would never use epics until I get them to level 4 at least, and you should do the same. Like if you aim to have tournament level cards and you have level 9 commons or level 6 rares, don't use golem level 2 or 3 guys, because it's just too weak. If your win condition is weak, the whole deck is weak. So golem is a win condition, it has to be higher level. Which damage increased by 10%, which is crazy. This actually, it's too big of a too big of a buff for people to consider usually, because 10% increase on the golems doesn't mean that much, but 10% on the witch means that she needs 1 hit less to kill goblins, 1 hit less to kill minions, 1 hit less to kill all these smaller units that a wizard will take down easily, and the witch couldn't, and that's why the wizard was played more than this girl, sorry. But with this 10%, I have to test it. My witch is of course lower level, and again, if you don't have it on a higher level, you shouldn't use it. But if you have a witch in a decent level for your arena, use it, guys. Like always behind some kind of a giant, royal giant, normal giant, giant skeleton, just tanks, or even the knight, as we spoke before. And you'll see that this unit is gonna be good. It's gonna be good because this damage is exactly what she needed. She needed too much time to take out smaller units, and now this is not gonna be the case. Okay, skeletons. All the skeletons get hit points and damage increased. Hit points can be negligible or maybe not. Like some units, when they try to kill a skeleton, like goblin archers, will need 2 hits, and now they need 2 hits, but if it's 1 level higher, the goblin archers kill the skeleton in 1 hit. So stuff like that, just some smaller units, some units that don't deal too much damage, like the ice wizard. If they need 2 hits to kill a skeleton, that's a big difference. That's an amazing difference. That's the difference between a zap killing a goblins and zap that not killing the goblins or the minions. Like unit needing 2 hits instead of 1 for 1 elixir, that's a lot. And the Tombstone hit points increased by 10%. I might consider using it if there are no princes and if there is no ice wizard, and this is not gonna happen in Arena 8. So you can substitute your cannon for this, guys, but if you start getting, if you start seeing the legendaries, just take this out, because it's not good. I mean, all the smaller things should be reactive, and the Tombstone as a structure is good against Prince and Hog Rider maybe, but not that much. I wouldn't use it, and I suggest you to do it only in the lower arenas, lower than the Arena 7. And the last change, card upgrade XP fixed for epic and legendary cards. Experience gained, I don't care that much about that, but it's a good thing that they fix issues. And that would be all the analysis, guys, from my side. I hope you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel if you want to check some gameplay videos. I rarely post any strategies for some basic units, but I do like to post some of my games in Arena 8, and I like to comment them. So if you want to see more of that, or if you want to see something in specific, let me know in the comments. If you want to say something about the patch as well, let me know in the comments. And thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Ciao, ciao.